Hey kiddos, we've been learning about koalas and today we're talking about the story Koala Lou. If you haven't had a chance to watch it again, I encourage you to check it out on YouTube. Ani's House is a great read aloud of Koala Lou. Okay, well, we are going to work on another activity from our learning packet. I'm not sure if you had this sheet or not, but I'll show you what it looks like. It had some sentences on it, and then on the side it said informative or narrative. Up here you'll see those two words. Here's the word narrative, and I've got a picture of Koala Lou. And then over here it says informative, and there's a picture of a real koala. We are going to do some sorting. So even if this sheet was not in your packet, which I'm not sure if it was or not, I have it, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out these sentences, and we're going to do some sorting. Now, when I say the word informative, do you hear me saying inform? An informative piece of writing or a book gives us information. It tells us facts, okay? But a narrative tells a story. So the very first day when we were talking about koalas and I shared this book with you, Koalas, this nonfiction book, that is a type of informative book. But Koala Lou is an example of a narrative because it's a story. It's telling a story. So I need your help. We are going to sort out these sentences. I better get to work cutting them. Now, if you have these in your packet, please go ahead and cut them apart, and you're going to sort them with me. You could write these words, narrative, informative, on a piece of paper, and you could just lay these strips under whichever one they go. So we're going to read these sentences together, and then we'll decide where we should put them. Thanks for being patient with me, friends, as I cut these out. Okay, very first sentence says, she could climb trees quickly. Was that a sentence from the narrative, the story of Koala Lou, or informative? She could climb trees quickly. That was from the narrative, the story of Koala Lou, so we're going to set this underneath narrative. Okay, let me grab another one. This says, koalas sleep 18 hours a day. Do you remember we read about that in our nonfiction book? Yes, that's informative. They're giving us some information. Koalas sleep 18 hours a day. Okay, let's go to this next one. It says, I'm going to hold this up so you can hopefully read it with me. Koalas spend most of their time in trees. Did we learn that from the narrative of Koala Lou, or did we learn that in our informative nonfiction book about koalas? We learned it in the informative book. Correct. So we're going to put this over here. They do spend most of their time in trees. Okay, let's see. This one says, she sat alone in the tree. When did it talk about, or which one of these books did it talk about her sitting alone? Koala Lou. This was a part of the narrative story, Koala Lou. So we'll put this over here on that side. I'm noticing that the sentences over here so far use the word she. They're talking about the character in the story. Okay, let's see. When it got dark, she went home. That's also narrative. That happened in the story of Koala Lou. Awesome. Okay, this one says, a baby koala is called a joey. That's informative. Yes, that's a fact from our nonfiction story that we read, or nonfiction book that we read. It wasn't a story. Okay, let's see. It says, this next sentence says, her mother had many babies. Yes, in Koala Lou, her mother had many babies, and that's why Koala Lou was feeling like she wasn't getting as much attention. Okay, I have one more sentence for us to sort. It says, joeys ride on their mother's back. That was from our nonfiction informative book. You are correct. Awesome. Well, thanks for helping me sort and deciding the difference between the narrative sentences, sentences that came from a story. Remember, a narrative tells a story like Koala, and the sentences that were informative. They come from a nonfiction book where it's giving you information or facts. Just like in that word informative, I see the word inform. Well, there's one more activity in your packet that goes along with narrative and informative. If you look for this sheet, I know that this sheet came home. Up at the top, you'll see Koala Lou, and then you'll see Koala Lou and her mom, and it says narrative because Koala Lou is an example of a narrative story. And then down here it says informative, and there's a picture of a real koala. And then it tells you, it says some books tell a story, that's narrative, and other books inform. Draw and write an example of a narrative sentence and an informative sentence. So here's what I want you to do. On this part where it says narrative, I want you to draw something that happened in the story of Koala Lou, and then I want you to write a sentence about it. Now, if you forgot, you can always go back and watch Koala Lou on YouTube, listen to the read aloud, and then just pick one part of the story to draw a picture and write a sentence about it. Down here where it says informative, if you forgot the information we read in our nonfiction book yesterday, maybe go back and watch that video again about koalas, that book that we read. And then you can draw something that you learned about koalas and write a sentence. Don't forget to use an uppercase letter at the beginning of your sentence and the rest lowercase. Don't forget to put spaceman between each of your words, and then add a period or some type of punctuation mark to the end of your sentence. Well, I hope you had fun finding out the difference between narrative and informative, and I can't wait to see what you write on your recording sheet. Okay, see you later, kiddos.